positive energy all the time. Good to see everyone. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. I'm representing Chi-Town. You know what it is. All you parents out there, you getting ready if you got children? Well, tomorrow's a big day for the children. I guess I'm not sure what's going on. I don't have any little children anymore. All my offspring is grown. So I'm not sure what the vibe is like for Christmas. Not sure what's up with that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. My youngest is 26. So I haven't dealt with that in some years now. I don't personally do the holidays, but to everybody that do, I hope you enjoy yourself. A lot of people like me that don't do the holidays, we respect the fact that people got the day off, and the day off is always a good thing, right? A day off is definitely a Merry Christmas if you work every day. So, we keep it a billion. A day off, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take that day off. You know what I'm saying? Whatever holiday you call it. Oh yeah, we with it. We with the holiday if we ain't got to go to work. Yeah. So come on in. We got my brother representing Indianapolis, standing strong. We got Oakland in the building. We got my brother representing San Jose, California. I don't know if I've been to San Jose. We got Huntsville in the building. My cousin down there in Alabama. I got a lot of relatives in Alabama. So if you're in Alabama, and your family's been there, the possibility of us being cousins is extremely high. When I used to go to Alabama and I began to be a teenager and liked girls, the older women down there would tell me, "Come here, boy. Don't you be down here kissing on these girls before you check with us to find out if it's your cousin or not." I said, "Are you serious?" They said, "Yeah, you can't just be down here with these girls, being these girls, kissing on these girls down here in Birmingham until you find out who it is. You got cousins over this whole state." So, we used to go to Alabama, and we had to go over the whole state. We got Dallas in the building. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Assalamu alaikum and all that stuff to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's the big Christmas coming up. Haven't celebrated it in years. I don't hate on it. Shout out to all my people in Seattle. I've been to Seattle a lot of times. I was amazed at how many streetwalkers are in Seattle. It's amazing. They got certain areas where they are everywhere. It's kind of crazy. we don't have that many streetwalkers in Chicago no. I think the police really clamped down. They went out by O'Hare Airport, but I hear that they scraping them up from out there too. So I don't know how the streetwalkers are making money anymore. Maybe they got an area I don't know about. I don't know. I ain't never really. But Seattle, whoa. I said, wow. I don't know. I don't know how men pick them up. I'd be scared. I'm gonna catch something. So I don't know. It takes a lot of courage to pick up a streetwalker, don't it? I'd be, oh, you know what I'm saying? If you rolling the dice, especially with HIV out here, boy, you know that HIV. You know what I mean? We got the ATL, Atlanta in the building. I got to get back down to Atlanta. I got to get down south. I'm surely going to get down south this year. I'm supposed to have been down there. Yeah, shout out to Seattle. I made a lot of money in Seattle, sold a lot of CDs in Seattle, a lot of music, and made a lot of money at the Seattle Hemp Fest. I need to get back out to the Seattle Hemp Fest, see how that's what that's like. I haven't been there in years. Nicki is fine. All right, guys. Atlanta in the building. A lot of times when the women try to keep that hair, that European hair, that kind of European look, a lot of times it beats them down as they get older. They start paying for all that makeup and all the cosmetic fake stuff to look like that. It kind of catches up with them. It gets to a point they don't match. You know, if you look at Cardi B, you look at Nicki, you can kind of see, you know, it's wearing off a little bit. You know, I think I think the imagery of the black woman is horrible for the black man. I think it's deprogramming him to what beauty is. And I think the young black man, what he's looking at as beauty is basically self hate. But that's a whole nother video. The type of the women, the way the young black man is attracted to women that are not, that don't want to look black, which, you know, their daughters are going to be subjected to lots of chemicals. It's going to take chemicals for your daughter to look like that. And I would expect a high rise in cancers, brain cancer, all type of cancer in black females. I expect that to really go crazy probably in about the next 3 or 4 years. Probably now, but they just ain't really reporting it. But I expect cancer to be through the roof. You can't put all that toxic stuff on your face and your hair like that and think you're going to be all right. You got to be crazy. So y'all come on in. We're gonna talk about it. I remember when I had, you know, I remember when I had my perm, I had my butter. You know, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy. I had a perm. How old was I? I was in around seventh grade. I got my butter, boy, my perm, super fly. You got to be crazy to get a perm. You got to be out your mind. Who remembers the day they put the perm on your hair and tell you, "Let me know when it start burning." Let you know when it start burning. You think back on that. They say, let me know when it starts burning. And that's on your head where your hair is coming through your brain. Your brain is up there. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Let me know when it starts burning and my brain is up there. I guess, and I got rid of that, and then I ended up getting a Jerry curl. I remember I had a Jerry curl. I was like, I had a Jerry curl before it was even popular. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was really into fashion, and they said they got this thing called a Jerry curl, and I was going to like Johnson and Johnson had a beauty shop. This is way before Easy E and them even knew about it. You know what I mean? This is back when the Jerry curl used to get real hard. They didn't even have the Jerry curl juice to soften it up. So it looked shiny and everything, but it'd be hard as a brick. I was like, what the hell is this? That's the last hairstyle I went. I went straight from a Jerry curl to dreadlocks. I didn't take them out or nothing. I just let them come out naturally and dread up naturally. Isn't that crazy? The last hairstyle I had in 1978 was a Jerry curl. I grew these dreads straight from a Jerry curl. I worked for a stock exchange. All the women went from loving me to, don't get away from me. What's wrong with your head? I lost all my admirers. And my attitude was, baby, bye. It's holler at me when you want a little to be converted a little bit. I mean, knock that perm out your head. Get you back on track, Black Queen. You know, you were a little lost, baby. Don't look at me crazy. You the one want to be Barbie, which is a great segue to Barbie. I never, that's negative. You know what I'm saying? That's just absolutely negative for a black woman to be like we're Barbs, we're Barbies. It's like, are you serious, girl? Y'all came all the way from Trinidad to America to be Barbie. Who the hell is Ken? Your boyfriend is Ken? All right, okay. Right. So she has self-hate issues. Yeah. Black people ain't black too much no more. Sad. Kind of losing all their blackness. It's kind of sad. You would think the brothers would be standing on business. They going for the okey doke too. I never understood why the sisters be so prejudiced when they see the athletes with the European women. Why the sisters is trying to look like European women. I'm like, I don't get it. He just went and got the real thing. I mean, why would I get with Nicki Minaj? Why not just go get me a real Barbie? You know what I'm saying? Why not just give me a real Barbie? Why would I get a bootleg Barbie? Make it make sense. And then if I get me a Barbie, do I gotta be Ken? Pause. I can't do Ken. So that don't match Tupac and Barbie. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know, that's crazy. Ken is a op, you know. When I was a little boy, Ken was a op. You know what I mean? Ken was always op. My sister had Barbies and Barbie and Kens, and Ken was an op because I had a GI Joe, GI Joe, an army man. He got to have an enemy, so I would go sneak my sister's Ken, steal my sister's Ken, and he'd be the one get beat up and get, he'd be the bad guy. And I throw him all around the basement. You know how we had to pretend they fighting because they can't move it just a dial. So you just grab Ken and just sling him across the basement. You know, he was the op. You know what I'm saying? My sister, where's my Ken? Give me my doll, Mama. He down here messing up my Ken. You know what I'm saying? I always had an argument. I remember the first year I got a black GI Joe. Oh, I was so excited. Heck yeah, she was pissed. I was beating up Ken. That was always stealing her Ken and beating him up. Although she wasn't super pissed because he was just a boot. He was just a side piece. She loved Barbie. Ken, you know, how if you got a little sister, she a year younger. It ain't the fact that you got Ken. It's the fact that you got him, and she don't want you with her stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you got siblings, it ain't the fact. She don't really care. It's just, you know, I don't need to have it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got siblings, they love you and don't like you, especially if you're a boy and a girl. I can talk about that. If you got a little sister, she like you when she get ready. She like you and she can't stand you, and you gotta figure out what type of time she on. You know what I'm saying? Because she can't stand you and she love you, but she can't stand you. Rightfully so, because brothers can kind of pick with you and irritate you and aggravate you and get on your nerves. So you always hear that ringing through the house. Stop, boy! Yeah. So I seen Nicki Minaj at the MAGA thing. I didn't really pay it a lot of attention because I don't do political hack stuff. Once the election's over, I can't really wrap my mind in that stuff. I feel like it's a waste of my mental. But I was talking to an older female relative, and she asked me about it. What you think about Nicki Minaj up there running around with them MAGA? They don't even like black people. I said, well, you got a point. You know, the Republican Party. I'm for people picking whatever party, but when you look at the Republican Party, it's pretty much where the races go. I don't really know races really being big in the Democratic Party. So the Republican Party is weird because it's people that's about money, finances, real politics, but it has a tendency that's where the races go. It's almost like that's the white party and the blacks can get into the Democratic Party. I don't know. Am I reaching? That's kind of like the vibe. Like if you look at the Trump administration, it's like tiptoes, but it does look a little biggity. Take all, close all the black museums, take all of black history down, demote all the black military. I'm not sure how black Republicans ignore that. I don't know how black Republicans, I don't know how you ignore that. So I'll be looking at Trump and hoping he do some pretty good things, but he's, he's not a really good president overall. He put those plaques up saying bad things about ex-presidents. He's totally a horrible example of a president. He's just too emotional and he's not professional. As a president, he's the most unprofessional president I ever seen. He's just totally unprofessional. You have to wonder, like, who supports this guy? America's got to be unprofessional to support him. You can see why America's quality of labor and quality in education has gone down because he got support. And you got to be unprofessional yourself to support him. I can't see how anybody that's professional could support him. But I guess, I don't know. Maybe sometimes you're so stuck in division, you just ignore that this guy is like a horrible role model to the world as a president. Like, he's the worst, really. I've never seen nothing like it. He put plaques up there and said all kind of bad stuff about Obama on the plaque and all kind of bad stuff about Clinton on the plaque, like his own personal dislike for him. And he put it up in the White House, and he just put his name on everything. Put his name on the Kennedy Center, tore down half of the White House, put up some fake cheap gold. He really likes this cheap gold. He likes it to look gold, but he'll use cheap stuff. And he put that cheap gold stuff all in the White House. That cheap stuff, it looked like gold. It don't even really even look like gold that people put up to get the gold look. I said, dang, this guy here. But I didn't pay a lot of attention. My relative brought it up because I didn't really pay a lot of attention to Nicki. I seen her. You know what I mean? And I seen her. It looked weird, when I seen her on stage. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. So when my relative brought it up to me, I had to do a lot of mind searching because, I'm not a political hack, so I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But it did look weird to me. So I started thinking, all right, everybody has a right to, to decide who you support. And I was like, okay, Harris had Cardi B and Megan. And so I guess Nicki is going against them, right? Which is weird. So just to go against them, she get up there with the Republicans. But I'm like, well, that's not enough for me to look at this weird. So I'm like, well, why am I looking at this so weird? Why does this look weird, her up there with the MAGA? And then I finally figured it out. Oh, it's not a campaign season. So she looks crazy. Like if when Trump was running for office and she would have came out at one of the events and said, I support Donald Trump, I think it would have looked more normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who she want to vote for. She come out doing the campaign. But to be up there now when it's not an election year looks late and it looks crazy. It looks crazy. It's like she's just up there for nothing. It really looks like she's trolling. Because what's the purpose? I mean, like, it's not an election year. Because I was wondering, well, the Cardi B and Megan thing. I think Harris messed that up because I think Harris was trying to entertain a young audience and get them to vote, but didn't consider the lewd nature of the performers, and it kind of backfired because you're running for election, booty poppers ain't really, you know. So I think that was a miscalculation. I don't think they should have performed. I think they should have just came up there and said some support, and the kids still would have screamed. But I don't think Megan. You know what I mean? Uh, what Nigerian comment? I didn't see the Nigerian. What not? What Nigerian comment? So I think it was a miscalculation, but I blame that on Biden. Harris had to rush. So, Harris not getting treated fair. Biden stayed out there, knew he was old, knew he was falling asleep, stayed out there until he totally ruined the debate. Then at the last minute, they threw her out there to try to run a campaign at the last minute. That was some bull crap. They should sit Biden and Trump down. They are too old. Trump is falling asleep, called the man Sleepy Joe. These 80-year-old presidents and politicians got to go. I don't give a damn who it is. Trump is too old. Too old. Biden was too old. And Trump up there calling Biden Sleepy Joe, and now Trump sleep every day. He done fell asleep more times than Joe. That's a whole nother video. Get these old people out of here. I'm getting ready to be 68 in a couple months. And I could be president. 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. When you start talking about 72 to 76, I wouldn't want the job. I think I could do 4 years. I don't think I'd be really that good 8 years. I don't think so. I think you're pushing it I think you're pushing it. Don't nobody want no doggone 78, 79-year-old president. Come on, sit your ass down somewhere. Even people that's got age like me know that's crazy. Anything for me after 75, I could do 76 if it's my last year. But I can't do no 77, 78, 79, 80 president. That sounds crazy. Got these old country, old people. It's a country for old men. Nobody said no country for old men. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about being president. I'm not against old people. So I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't understand, Equator. I don't understand what you're talking about. So you saying no country for your grandfather? I don't know. You saying no country for you, so you don't no country for you when you get older? You're disrespecting your own old age. That's not what I'm saying. I said a job, doing a job, doing a serious job. I ain't talking about anti-old people. What are you talking about? Look at this. What does that got to do with what I'm talking about? Somebody tell me? Just because I say I don't want nobody 78 in the NBA, don't mean I'm against old people. I'm just saying you can't be in the NBA. What are you talking about? Oh, it's a movie. Okay. I didn't see the movie. Gotcha, I guess. Got you. Equator, I don't be knowing what these comments are, so when I read them, I was like, what the hell? Okay, I got you. But if you can't do the job, but I see Nicki Minaj up there. I didn't get it. JD Vance and all of them, they don't respect her like that. Like I'm like, is she trolling? Does anybody know why Nikki what she's doing? I have no idea what she's doing. She's definitely not helping the Republican Party. Like her up there's not helping. Like, what was the purpose? She was up there with some lady. It was awkward as hell. You could tell the lady don't really like her. You know what I'm saying? The lady don't listen to you. That lady don't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? And they just got her up there. It was a bad move for the Republicans too. That was a bad move to have her up there. Because you got somebody up there that is Mitch Mac Paddywhack. You don't like her like the lady she was up there with. There was no chemistry. There was no chemistry. I don't get it. No chemistry at all. Right, you up there with Erica Kirk. Don't make no sense to me. Her husband's fans ain't gonna mess with you. Yeah, yeah, that doesn't make no sense. That didn't make. That was just a waste of. That was just a waste. That doesn't make no sense. That was. I was like, they're just doing. What the hell is this? Bad look for the Republican Party. Bad look for Nikki. Bad look for Erica. Nobody really won from that. It was just. I don't know what the young people call doing too much. I see no benefit. Like if you do something like that, I need to be able to see some type of benefit. I see absolutely no benefit. It's not going to be. She lost all of her fan base. Nobody's going to mess with her. She looked like a goofy. And then on top of that, she's an airhead, and that's nobody we look at politically. Like nobody's thinking Nicki Minaj when we think politics, when we think taxes and taking care of the farmers and education. You don't think Nicki Minaj. So it was a bad move for Erica and the Republican Party. That was the dumb. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? You got a bimbo up here for what? It's not even election time. It's not even time to get no votes. So I'm like, just doing anything. Just doing anything. That's not gonna even make no noise with the Epstein files pictures everywhere. It wasn't even a good publicity stunt. I never would have mentioned it if somebody called me. She might be trying to pull a fat joke, but she's not gonna pull it because it's the wrong time. Like the way it was done, nothing will be accomplished. That's why it's so confusing. It was a total waste of time. Nothing will be accomplished with that. I mean, nothing. They won't gain no support, nothing. She's not going to even troll. She's not even trolling good. Like, that's not a good troll. That's what I'm saying. That's not a good troll. It accomplishes nothing. That's why I didn't even think about it until somebody was talking to me on the phone. I never would have mentioned it. It was something I looked at. I just looked at it and kept on going. You know, I would never be talking about it if somebody on the phone didn't ask me about it, because it didn't do nothing to me. I just looked at it. It looked weird, and I just I just didn't pay it much attention. I just, what the hell, it was. I mean, if the idea, whatever the idea was, it failed. I mean, you're gonna do that right during Christmas. Nobody's gonna remember that. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe she's trying to get in good for a legal status for her husband and for her so they don't get deported or whatever. But I guess, I guess it just looked weird. It looked ridiculous. It definitely didn't make MAGA look good. Made MAGA look crazy for sure. Try and get her husband's charge pardoned by Trump. I can understand that. I can understand that. I get out there and be a lapdog to get him pardoned. I guess. Like she had an earpiece when they were trying to tell her. I don't know. It just was awkward. Yeah, but I forgot. Yeah, her husband, get him pardoned. I don't. I think Charlie Kirk, was a nobody. I think he was paid by somebody to put him up there. He was sponsored by somebody. He was a nobody. Somebody was sponsoring that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen anything he said that was worth 5 cents. So he was sponsored. And his wife looked like she was the boss. And he was just a performer. You know. So I really didn't pay him no attention either. Nowadays, you could get on these college campuses and you could scam big time. You can make up a conversation. If you're kind of younger like him, you can make up a conversation right now and get out here and get to talking. You could be bigger than life and don't really have to be talk about nothing. Just tug on people's emotional strings, say certain radical stuff, and you in there. All you got to do is talk crazy, say something radical, and you in there. Especially right now with the population and the white population going down, and they kind of feeling scared that somebody gonna take over. And, I think with white America, I think they scared. I think the history of doing so much bad to people, I think they scared that people have get back. I've always thought that about whites in America. I always thought they feel like because of slavery and all that, they feel like if they lose power, that people will do them like they did racially. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't believe nobody would do that, but I think it's in the back of their mind that people will get back. I think that's the biggest problem with America. I think white America believe it'll be some type of revenge, which ain't nobody really think about no damn revenge or nothing. People just want their reparations and move on with their life. But I think there's a lot of guilt in the white race in America. And then I think because they still so much racism going on, I think that's why George Floyd and the behavior of the police and how They can unalive people and the judge let them go like they still practicing the same racism. Because these police go out here and just unalive black people and the judge let them walk. It's obviously racism. So that adds to the fear because you still on that. You still on that same stuff. I go in the store, some white dude asks me, "Can I help you?" No, punk. You know what I mean? Following me around through the store, dude. You know, weirdo stuff. Just weirdo, Robert. You know what I'm saying? I think they, I think they focusing on everything. They need to focus on how they disrespecting the planet. You know, 3 states is underwater, and California get ready to be under more water and mud. So I think that negative attitudes towards other people is the same attitude that this society has against nature. I don't think they respect nature, and that's gonna be the big problem. Problem ain't black people. The problem is tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, mudslides, earthquakes. It's gonna be their big problem because no respect for the earth either. When you walk around like you the big bad and nothing, you don't gotta respect nothing, including the earth. We already know how that's gonna go. It ain't people gonna do nothing to them. The earth is gonna destroy all of this stuff they built because it's not built right. It doesn't have no respect for nature. They just throwing stuff up there. They got no respect for the fish. They got animals all in the zoo. They think they're supposed to eat all the animals. They think the animals here to eat. And then so now cancers everywhere. You know, all type of diseases is rampant. And Mother Nature is acting a fool. Mother Nature been beating up the United States so bad they don't want to report it. They haven't fixed the last 3 years of natural disasters. They haven't fixed that stuff. The last 3 or 4 years of natural disasters in this country, them places still look like that. They have not repaired that damage. And now they got more damage on top of that. And the news is trying to act like they don't see it. Here in Chicago, this is the first year we got snow in years. No snow in Chicago. Imagine that. No snow. The last time it snowed here to shovel snow was like 3.5, 4 years ago. No shovel, no boots. I ain't even need no winter coat all these years. Now you know when it do snow, guess how much it's gonna snow? When it finally do snow, how much snow is gonna be? It's been about 4 years, right? Right? It's been like 4 years. It's been like 4 years since we had to get the shovel out. Like when I first started the body sculpture challenge, one of the challenges I was shoveling my car out. So I had to shovel my car out. So the next year, I bought a small shovel to put in the back of the car. And that shovel just been in the back of the car. I haven't had to shovel my car out. My car ain't been spinning in no snow. There ain't been no snow nowhere. Do I feel like there'll be a virus that will only affect non-melanated people? No, because as far as the virus only know you by what's in your body, and you eat what they feed you. So as far as the virus is concerned, y'all all is spaghetti and meatballs, pork, beef, and chicken. So no, as far as the virus is concerned, you fried chicken and pork chops. The virus is not going to look at your your skin color. The virus is going to look at your DNA, and your DNA is just like their DNA. The virus is going to attack you based on garbage. You eat this. You eating garbage. You let a lot of brothers talk this one thing, but the same people they talk about tell them how to eat. So how you so against the system, but you in the store eating everything they tell you to eat, and you eating stuff that's gonna get the diseases, that's got the diseases, and you got them same creatures in your body that they done been shooting up with all kind of stuff. COVID is the perfect example of scientific experiments on animals that got loose. Zootic. You understand? I don't even want to make you think you can eat chickens for a long time and be healthy. You slow right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how you could be a superior creature and eat the lower creatures. You know what I'm saying? And think you're going to even be all right. I don't even know how you can go in the store and buy stuff and don't read no ingredients. Don't know nothing you eat and just eat it till it tastes good and think you ain't going to have an epidemic. Duh. You eating bacon and eggs. That's been, you know, you know what they got to do to provide this much meat and cheese for you? You know what they got to do to be able to provide this much of that stuff? Frankenstein stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother video right there. Your president is sick and got all kind of stents and stuff in him and all kind of things on his feet so he can walk. You know what I'm saying? President Trump got all kind of gadgets under his clothes. That's why he's getting them marks on his hand. Every week he got to get like special medical treatment to keep him moving. That man's sick as a dog. I give it to him. He hide it well. That man got on diapers and all type of stuff. Got something on him to catch the urine. Got a bag on his leg to catch the urine. All that. That's why his clothes be big like that, so you can't see all the machinery on it. Isn't it a word out there that if you eat meat or blood of an animal, it makes you more aggressive? Not really, because cows and chickens is pussies. How you gonna eat a chicken and be aggressive using chicken? All your animals you eat is pussy. So no, you eat a bunch of animals, you're gonna be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna be you know what I'm saying? You ain't eating lions and tigers. You eating the punkest animals. So no, you're gonna be like Young Thug. You're gonna have fingernail polish on and shit. You eat all women. You don't eat no males. You eat the hen. You don't eat the rooster. You eat the cow. You don't eat the bull. You eat the B words. You know? You eat females all day. And you go on and they just trying to sell men testosterone. Why is men's testosterone so low? Because you eat females all day. So all the men is trying to, man, you go on your Instagram and it's just testosterone advertisements after testosterone. Everybody try to tell you how to get your testosterone up. Y'all ain't noticed that? Everybody blend this up with this and drink this, take this and that. Men testosterone, everybody selling testosterone tablets and powders. And why? Because you eat females all day. You don't eat bulls. You eat the cow. You eat the females. But it's and what a lot of people don't understand is that it's not just that you eat them. It's just that people don't understand when you start getting billions and billions and billions of people, and now you got to produce beef for all these people. You got to do things to it. And so people don't understand what you have to do to provide this much chicken, what you have to do to provide this much beef. That's what people don't understand. So when you be saying my granddaddy, your granddaddy didn't eat this Frankenstein stuff. Your granddaddy didn't eat what you eat. And so the mass production, you know what they got to do? They got to get a chicken from a baby to full size in a few days. If you knew what they do to pump them chickens up, you would not eat that shit. So they got to provide all of this stuff that they can't provide. So they got to make frozen versions of it. They got to shoot it up with all kind of chemicals and stuff so it won't go bad. It's a big mess. It's a mess because they created a lifestyle that is impossible to maintain. It's not possible to maintain the way we live. It's just not going to work. There's no way electric cars is going to work. Like anybody with any kind of sense that know the population know that's never going to work. Never. Satellites, there's no way you're going to, Elon Musk is an idiot. There's no way he's going to be able to have satellites in the sky like that to do what he wanted to do. And them things ain't going to fall. Them things ain't going to malfunction. And once you put all your eggs in that basket, stuff malfunction. All the lights off. Everything is off. Because you put everything in these satellites and put them in the sky. And you think you can have thousands of them in the sky. And it's going to work. Any fool know that's not going to work. That we're supposed to be living on plots where everybody can grow a little bit of food they sell, where there's bigger plots to grow more food, to back you up for your little bit of food, like that. That's the only way we can survive. You can't survive growing hundreds and hundreds of acres of one crop because you're going to get a pestilence based on that one crop. Then you're going to put all of your dependency on that one crop. And when that one crop go bad, you ain't got no food. You can't have no acres and acres and acres and acres of corn because you're going to get acres and acres and acres of whatever kill that corn. And all that corn going to just die. And then you ain't going to have no corn. You have to split plants up. That's a whole nother video. You can't grow just one crop, acres and acres. You create one type of pest, one type of pest. Bottom line is, we put our lives in the hands of people that do anything for money. And they're going to destroy you. Because your life is in the hands of greedy people that want money. And they want all the money. So you ain't going to never get no money because they want it all. And you're going to have to work from paycheck to paycheck. You ain't going to never be clear. You ain't going to never have enough money to just enjoy your life like you think. I don't care how much money you get. It's going to run out if everything ain't working. And you just have one person here, one person there telling you this financial literacy. But we know that's not going to work for the millions and millions of people in this country. And we know that no matter how much money you got, if a lot of people go broke, they're going to run up in your crib. They're going to pull you out your car. So how you going to live? Because you have financial literacy, but millions and millions of people didn't, and they all broke. You think you're going to be able to peep your head outside? Good luck. You still ain't going to be able to come outside. You got to barricade yourself inside of your home that you think you safe. It's just ridiculous. It's a disaster. People that was born back when I was should notice, should see the fall. Well, I understand young people can't see the fall, but people born back then, you could see where this is going. They could barely keep the streets paved. They can't even keep all the streets up across America. They got too many streets. They can't keep the streets. They can't keep the streets paved. They can't keep the sewer system new. Fast as they dig it up and they replace it, it's bad back over here. They got to dig up all the pipes again. Like in Chicago, they try to replace all the pipes. By the time they replace all the pipes, they're going to have to go back and replace them again. Yeah, I've seen them show that. But when they show that, they lying to Europeans because Europeans is eating garbage. They ain't eating fruit and stuff in the morning like that. That's all fake. They broke too. Yeah, they broke too. They overweight too. If the majority of the country is white and they say a bunch of Americans is overweight, who they talking about? If the majority of the country is white and they have an epidemic of cancer, who got it? It couldn't be us. We only 50 million. If the majority of the country is white and you got dialysis centers everywhere, who you think is going to them? Not the only the 50 million. You see what I'm saying? They 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 the ones keeping the medical system going. That's why that dude went and shot the insurance guy over the medical stuff. Because they denying these white people paying all this money for medical, and then when they get sick, the insurance company deny them. Didn't that white dude shoot the white dude over medical? That was a white dude, right? Shot a white dude, right? Say they rejected his mama for medical treatment, right? All right. They on TV selling race is fake. You know what I'm saying? White America gonna wake up. Like white America is the biggest suckers. That's who they pimping. They not really pimping us. They use racism to abuse whites. I'm telling you, think about it. As long as they can make whites think that they treating us the worst, white Americans will never look at how they getting treated. Think about it. Think about how it looks that they pushing racism, but all the white farmers is losing their farms left and right. They losing everything they got, the shirts right off their back. And J.D. Vance is working with a company that's going to go buy all them farms and take all them farms from them white farmers. Facts. Whose farms they finna take? Racism is a trick. Racism was always used to abuse white people. That's the ultimate goal. No, no, no. Look at the blacks. Look, the blacks are no good. Look, 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 look. You know what I mean? It ain't divide and conquer because it ain't enough for us to divide and conquer. Divide and conquer would mean it's 200 here and 200 here. Then you divide and conquer. If it's only 50 million black Americans and it's 200 some million white Americans, ain't no divide and conquer because you're the majority. That would be, if you got a small group here and a big group here, that would be separate and conquer. But divided, only way you could divide and conquer, you'd have to divide white America. You couldn't consider 50 million out of 300 something million as divide. That's not dividing. A divide is usually right down the middle. It's not enough of us to divide and conquer. You got to understand, white people is Democrats and Republicans, not us. Keep it real. The Democratic Party, is it black? No. It's some blacks. The Democratic Party in America is white, and the Republican Party is white. Now, blacks, a lot of blacks ride with the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party is not black. Both parties are predominantly white. So who's divided? Trump, what race is Trump? What race was Biden? They wasn't black. Look at the Senate and the Congress. That's all white people. It's just a couple of black people there. Look at the Senate and the Congress. You know what I'm saying? Racism is not real. That's fake. It's like an illusion. It's an illusion. You know what I'm saying? Shit not real. They robbing their own people. No, no, no. Don't look at me. Look at the blacks. Look at the Mexicans. They ain't nothing. And rob you. You look up, you lose everything you got. Ask somebody been to prison how many white boys in there. A whole bunch. You'd be surprised. You go in there, you be like, oh, whoa. Prison ain't black. They'll always show you the blacks in there, but they never show you the whole prison. They never really show you everybody in prison. There'll be videos come to the hood of the brothers. So like I'm in prison and I'm with the brothers and I make videos, put them on Instagram. So you get the impression that we the only ones in here. But that's because I'm not over there with the Aryans and the white dudes. So it give you a false, you thinking that's all in here because I'm showing just me and the guys. I'm not over there with the whites to show you them in there or the Mexicans. So you get the impression that it's just blacks in there, but it's not enough blacks to keep the prison system working. It's not enough black people for the justice system to keep it working. That's a fact. America eats its own. You know what I mean? And Trump is going to take everything from the middle class and poor whites. They ain't going to have nothing. This administration, they're going to rob them blind. They ain't going to have no farms. They're going to lose everything they got. Look, if you're a white farmer, right, and you got all these crops, and it's harvest time. You got your strawberries, your tomatoes, and everything. It's time to harvest it so you can make your money. You got a white president. Do you think he love you if he go arrest all your workers before you harvest your crops? Who got hurt the most? The illegals or the farmers? Them farmers lost everything. They chased all their workers away. I just watched the white dude this morning. He talking about that. They losing all their farms. He finna lose his farm. They finna lose all them farms. All them farms is gonna be owned by big industrial companies. And all them white farmers is finna be out of business. These guys is old too, struggling. They never make ends meet. They never break even and they never make ends meet. Look it up. And they use racism, and these guys don't get no nothing. All through the Appalachian Mountain, all Kentucky, Tennessee, they starving. White Americans. That's why some white Americans be mad at black people because they like, we ain't got nothing either. What is you talking about? That's part of some of the racial divide. When they be seeing, when these starving white Americans be seeing blacks saying, we need this and that, they be like, well, what about us? Man, they starving. White Americans got to go to food banks all across this country. Without food banks, they'll starve. You should see some of their homes and some of the way they live. In Tennessee and Kentucky and Oklahoma, y'all just think they living good. No, they not. No, they not. Not to mention the drug epidemic with whites. You come to Chicago, go downtown, and see who's gonna be walking up to your car begging, hungry as F. Who made up hungry as F signs? They did. They downtown Chicago right now begging for food. Go look at the homeless people. Look at it good. Go. All you gotta do is go right now to Google and be like homeless, and then click on the pictures and see who it is in them homeless camps. There's not enough black people to be all these homeless people. They use racism to run a game on white Americans. No. Look at the blacks. Look at the blacks. We mistreating the blacks. Look. No. And then you look up, you getting evicted from your crib. You know what I'm saying? And they don't give whites no media. That's why the whites is mad. If you black and they do something to you, you could get media. But if you white and they cheat you and you get evicted out, you don't get no media because they got the mentality whites is doing great when they not. They push that mentality that whites is doing great while they run over white Americans all day. Man, they treat white Americans bogus. These white men, they go get in the military, they come back, they be homeless and on substances. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what I know. Race is like a trick. You know what I'm saying? Race is a trick. And if the white Americans start complaining, then the politicians try to pretend, well, that's because we're giving all this stuff to the blacks. Be lying. You know what I'm saying? It ain't enough black people. Listen, if we only 50 million, there ain't no way that stuff you send in to fund us could help white Americans. When it's, you know what I'm saying, when it's 200 or something million white Americans, the money you giving 50 million wouldn't help them anyway, right? So that's all bull. The little welfare and stuff you giving. The most people on welfare is white Americans. The most people on food stamps is white Americans. The most people doing bank robberies is white Americans. The most crime is white Americans. Facts. They starving out here. They got all kind of substance abuse problems and all that. They be doing white Americans bogus, y'all. I'm telling you. Man, America be doing white Americans foul. Worse than they do us. I'm telling you. They just use the news on how bad they do us, so you can't see how bad you doing them. It's it's deep. Cause they not scared of us. They scared of the white Americans that they doing wrong. All them people January 6th is really against the government, including Trump. So they ran the game on them and Trump sent them off. But Trump really was the one they was supposed to be mad at. He the president. So if you got all these complaints, who is your complaint with? Think about January 6th. They out there mad, right? But they man was the president. So everything they said they want, why they didn't blame him? He ran the game on them and sent them off and sent them over there. Think about January 6th. He ran the game on them. If you're white Americans and you marched on Washington and you mad how you get treated, but he's the president, why you wasn't mad at him? He's the president. You let him talk to you and send you to the Capitol, to the wrong people, which the real one, the reason you like that was him. That's why he went and pardoned them, so they wouldn't realize he was the reason they was like they was. Now they seeing it. Because now you're in there and he taking all their money and he giving it to billionaires all over the world. And he just taking poor white people money like the hell with y'all, giving it all to his family. Yeah, he used them. He used white America to enrich his family and rich Russians and rich billionaires around the world. He not going to do nothing for them. He's going to take everything they got. They farms and everything. Race was always a trick. It was always to get the poor white man and make him go out in the sun and watch the slaves. They, you better than them, boy. You better than them. Yeah, we's white. Now you go out there and you watch them. Yes, sir, y'all. And he go out there in the sun too. You in the sun picking cotton. He in the sun watching. But the rich guy is in the crib. And the rich guy that was using them, right, was getting his money from New York, right? And the rich ones in New York was using the so-called wealthy one down south. And then when he no longer needed the white plantation owner no more, and he had the cotton gin and tractors and everything, what did he do? He foreclosed on all their property and started sending the military down there to take their property. And then they put a military together, and you had the Civil War. The Civil War, because he did whites in the South dirty. The North, the rich ones in the North, pimped the ones in the South. They wasn't doing nothing but sharecropping slaves because all the money that they was getting for the plantations was a loan, and they defaulted on them loans every year. They didn't have enough money to buy the cotton. They didn't have enough money to buy the clothes. They didn't have enough money. You think I'm lying? Watch this. Watch this. Watch. Let me show you who was really getting the money. Watch this. Now, don't think of this in terms of them. Think of this in terms of the whites. I'm going to show you the whites that had the money, and it's going to look like it's just talking about exploiting them. But look at who they were selling the stuff to and who owed them. Look who really ran stuff. Them whites down south that had the slaves didn't run nothing. This is the people that ran everything. Check it out.
This is 13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, 2 predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. 2 historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them.
Check this out. Sold policies to the slaves. To who? To who? All of these businesses, who was they getting money from? They was getting it from their own whites, robbing
them as payment. Number 4, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London. Nathan Mayer
in London, charging them down there to fund slavery. And they could never pay, and they was getting further and further and further in debt.
Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with a slave owner.
Used the slave as collateral while dealing with the slave owner, which the slave owner what? Defaulted every year and was further in debt. And then they came and did what? Took their land. And what's down there now? All industrial farming. Acres and acres of industrial farming. They took all that from them. Just listen.
I have a list of this. So if I stumble, it's because I have a lot of chicken scratch. Number 4, Norfolk Southern offered slaveholders $180. That's $3,379 today. This article was written in 2013. So that's $3,379 today a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad for 1 year. The Central Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern Line today, valued slaves at $31,303. Today that would be $663,033. Did I say that right? Yes.
So they renting you the slaves You paying them so much per slave. But when you get through buying food and housing and all that, you in the hole. Meanwhile, they got the slaves working, making big money. They ain't cutting you none of that money that they using the slaves to make. You got to deal with the maintenance of the slaves. You got to feed the slaves. You got to house the slaves. You got to clothe the slaves. And they sell you the slave clothes. Listen.
$663,033. Hopefully that came out right. Sounds weird. Number 5. U.S. Today found that their parent company, E.W. Scripps, and Gannett had links to the slave trade. Number 6. Fleet Boston evolved from an early financial institution. Providence Bank founded John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport enslaved Africans.
Funded the person that transported the slave. And when they default and can't pay that money back, what happens?
The bank financed Brown's slave voyages and profited from them. Brown even
Financed their slave wages and they profited. But did the people that have the slaves profit? No. No, they didn't.
reportedly helped charter what became Brown University. Number 7. CSX used slave labor to construct portions of U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place more than a century ago. 2 enslaved Africans were John Henry and Reuben. The record states they were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Number 8. Canadian National Railway Company. The Mobile and Ohio, now part of Canadian National, valued their slaves lost to the war and emancipation at $199,691 on record. That amount is currently worth $2.2 million. Whew. Number 9. Brown Brothers Harriman, the oldest and largest private investment bank, founded 1818, owned hundreds of enslaved Africans and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. Number 10. Brooks Brothers, high-end suit retailer, got their start selling slave clothes.
Got they start selling slave clothes. Lolita, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm showing you how they doing the same thing right now to white Americans. You don't understand what I'm showing. So you say you know this, but you don't know what I'm showing. You think I'm just showing what they did. I'm showing you what they're doing today to white Americans. The same thing. Fleecing them out of all their property. There won't be no farmers on no farms. All the farms will be owned by these big corporations. There won't be no farmers. So you do not know what I'm saying because you're not looking at the backstory of this. I'm not just saying her part. I'm showing you the backstory on what they did to the people that had the slaves. They cheated them. And these companies got all the money and they still doing that.
To various slave traders in the 1800s. They got their start by selling slave clothes. Number 11, Barclays. British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London has now conceded that companies brought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade.
So you all see what I'm saying? So it was an overplay for the underplay, right? And they robbed the people. It's the same thing they doing the whites now. They robbed the whites. You don't hear nothing about none of the actual slave owners. All you hear about is big companies that wasn't even in the South. That was all in Canada and all in Europe. They made all the money. And they left the actual people that ran the plantations flat as broke. So my point, what Lolita don't understand is that's still what's going on now with the people growing the tomatoes and the onions and just the same play. But instead of it's slave, it's food. And they doing the same thing, right? Front them the money for the fertilizer. Front them the money for the tractors. You know how much it costs when the tractors break? The farmers can't afford to repair their tractors. Not only that, sometimes they lose the tractor for 2 or 3 months, and you can't afford not to have your tractor in 2 or 3 months. And the people that makes the tractors and makes the equipment is making all the money. And all of the farmers are barely making it. Barely making it. Barely making it. Right? So Lolita, what I'm showing you is if Trump gets in there, okay, if I'm the president, I get in there and it's harvest time and all my white farmers got all these vegetables and fruit ready to be picked. And I bring up ICE and chase away all they workers. And I have the Americans think that I'm locking up illegals. What I'm really doing is driving the farms out of business. J.D. Vance got a company in the background and all of the Republicans to buy up all that farmland. They got you thinking they locking up the illegals, but look it up. Most of the illegals left on their own. Look it up. ICE didn't grab them. ICE chased them out. Look it up. ICE did not arrest all the illegals. They left. They self-deported. Look it up. Look at how many farm workers self-deported. Why would I have ICE come at harvest time right before Thanksgiving? Everybody knows Thanksgiving with the pumpkins represents what? Harvest season. They chased all the workers out at harvest time. All them farmers lost all them tomatoes, all them strawberries, raspberry, all that stuff rotted. The news media ain't covering none of it. As of January and February, most of them farmers will lose their farms. They're done. And while they chased everybody out, they're in Venezuela finna take that land and grow all that stuff where? Down there. I've been told y'all that. They're going to make them go back home and they're going to chase them all back down there. They down there with warships to take that land in Venezuela, and they're gonna grow the Chiquita bananas and the peanuts and all that down there. Why? Because America was having too many natural disasters. America's too small, and they were still the farmers they was pimping was not really producing enough food for America. Why have illegals come up here and be in the way and work when you can pimp them down there? So they gonna stop. They don't want. They're not bringing. They gonna pimp the illegals right where they live at. Instead of you coming from Venezuela and being a slave up here, they're gonna make you be a slave right in Venezuela. They bring the white South Africans here. They bringing the white South Africans here because you got a lot of homosexuality. The birth rate is down, and the white birth rate is down, and they need some white babies. They need babies. So they got to bring in some white men and some white women because the birth rate is down. And the birth rate is down for us too because the new younger generation don't want to have no babies. How many men come over here and tell me they 30, 35, 40, you ain't got no kids? How can you have a military? How can you run a country if you ain't got no people? The number one commodity is people. So the white race, they know in America, they need more babies. They need babies. So they bringing over new whites. They're gonna bring whites. They gotta breed. This is something black people understand. No people, no money. They got the black man thinking if he don't have no babies, he can get money. Man, I can't afford no babies, I can get money. Boy, you losing money. No babies, no money. I was just talking to my friend about that yesterday. Babies equal money, period. All you got to do is raise them right. Babies equal money, period. If you're 20 years old and you have a baby, that baby can start working at 16. You'll be 36. And your son or your daughter be bringing in some money. Tell me that ain't worth it. But you don't see the children as money makers. You see the children as spending money. No, the children are money makers. Whatever money you bringing in, if you raise your children right and make them get education, they're going to bring in more money for the family. You got a job, you working hard, you work at some factory or something, you raise your son, boom, he go to school, he become a lawyer. Here, dad, here's 130,000. Here, dad, here's 150,000. Here, mom and dad, here's a new house. Y'all don't got to live there no more. What a better investment is it than to raise children to be professionals to make more money than you was making? How's that an L? How's that an L to have 2 or 3 children that grow up and make more money than you making? You 20, right? Retirement 65. That's 45 years, right? But if you 20, how long is it before you have grown children? 25 years. Which is the shortest cut? 45 years or 25? 25 years is quicker than 45 years. 3 successful children in 25 or 30 years is 15 years earlier than retirement. Facts. How am I losing with my daughter graduating medical school? I'm winning. I don't need no bank. She the bank. I don't need no bank. My other daughter's in tech. They the banks. My other son's in Hollywood making cartoons and shit. Ain't no better investment than them. Ain't no better investment than successful children. You got your man. They got you thinking no babies is money. No, babies is money. Lots of it. Yeah, babies is money. Them NFL players that buy their mama a house, that was a baby. I was talking to a black girl and she was like, I was talking to a black girl and she was like, well, how's baby's money? And what's the how you gonna say having a baby is benefit? I said, how's LeBron James mama doing? She said, damn, I ain't think about that. I ain't think about that. I have 6 children, they grown. Best investment ever. It ain't no better investment than children. That's your best investment you could ever make. The returns is way big. The returns is super big on children. All you got to do is be a good parent, make them go to school, and make them go to trade school, and make them be a professional. And on top of that, if you're a single man and you want to go to war, and I get my 3 sons, you're going to lose. Yeah, you by yourself versus me and my 3 sons. It's a wrap. Facts. Yeah, you by yourself and me and my 3 sons, you lose. We could take your everything you got. Yeah, we could take, yeah. I don't got to call no friend that might come and help. I call my seed. I'm just saying. I got a built-in army. You understand? That's why the black farmers don't want to bail out. The black farmers don't want to bail out because they know they ain't going to be able to pay it back. You're 100% correct. They know that a bailout, if they have a bad crop, they lose everything they got. They know that. They know once you take a loan, just like in the streets, you don't, if you're a real hustler, you don't want nobody to front you no birds or no pounds. No. No, that could go bad. You want to do your flip your own stuff. So the black farmers, they know if you take that money, because in this world, and you're a black farmer, and I got a big old acres, and they give me a loan, they'll fly by and kill my crop just so I can't pay them. Facts. All of a sudden, my crop go bad. All of a sudden, I got some kind of bugs in my crop. Guess who did it? The banks. Let's make sure he can't pay us back, and let's take his farm. It's a dirty ass game. They'll sabotage your farm. I'm telling you. This is what's going on with the Republican Party right now. They robbing America. They robbing white Americans right in front of their face. You ain't noticed Trump pretending to be a racist and he not? That's why black people confused. They're like, Trump ain't no racist. Why is he pretending to be one? If he's pretending to be a racist, if he's pretending to ride with the racists, is it to hurt us? No. It's to put the white people to sleep to take their stuff. No, I don't like him either. Whole time he always was around black people. And all of a sudden, no, I don't like him. He let JD, he let everybody else say the racist stuff, so he don't got to say it. He's slick. So the whole time while he getting MAGA to be on some racist stuff, he behind the scenes robbing white America blind. The tariffs, robbing white America. Chasing out the migrants, ruining the farmers. Everything he doing is hurting white America, robbing them blind. Listen, if he's messing up the tax dollars, right? And there's 50 million black Americans and 200 some million white Americans, whose tax dollars is he? If he's abusing the tax dollars, and we only 50 million, and the country got 300 some million, whose tax money is he jagging off? Not ours. We only 50 million. We only like 1/7. So who is it? Whose money is he? Whose money is he robbing? His own people. That's their money he's jagging off. It's some of ours too, but that's mostly white America's money he's spending. Whose money is that he's spending? We only 50 million people. They 200 some million. Let me see. How many white Americans are there? 235 million. We 50 million. They 235 million, right? So if he robbing the taxpayers, which taxpayers he robbing? The 230, that's mostly their money. It's some of our money too, but that's mostly their money that he's tearing up the White House and tearing up stuff and rebuilding it with their money. Facts. Doing whatever he want with their money. Think about it. Doing them dirty. Because you got to understand, he hate America. He hate white America for arresting him and for charging them with them crimes. Oh, he mad. He hates this country for embarrassing them. And since you embarrassed him and you put his name for all of these crimes, he gonna put his name everywhere. He got his name on the Kennedy Center. He putting his face everywhere to try to offset his face being a criminal. 37 charges and all that. He ain't forgot. He blamed them white politicians for that. Black people didn't do that. Who did Trump like that? We ain't that powerful. His own people the one tried to throw him under the jail. Then he ain't forget. And he gonna help his billionaire friends take everything they got, including Israel. Yep. He gonna drive the country straight bankrupt. Y'all can't see the country finna go bankrupt. Anybody that's in the finance can see the country finna go flat ass broke. The man spent all the money. Now he finna tax the college students. If you got a college debt, he finna start taking money out your bank account, off your check. Who got the most college students, black people or white people? So who money he finna take? White students. If groceries is high and there's 230 million white people, who are they robbing at the grocery store? Who are they robbing at the gas station? White Americans is being robbed. And they're using fake white supremacy to put them to sleep. We know because we've been robbed by fake black supremacy. Haven't we had pro-black this and that robbers? All right, they do the same play. White people, and then rob them. Tell them, no, we pro-white. It's white and we going to give them up. But your taxes going up. Your food prices going up. Your house insurance, everything going up. And he got you, yeah, it's us white people, these black people, this and that. And then next thing you know, you look up, oh, dang, I lost everything. I thought you said you was against the blacks. Sucker. You know what I'm saying? For real. You don't see he playing the game. He robbing his own people. Got them looking at us while he robbing them blind. I seen that. I told you Trump ain't no racist. Trump had a black girlfriend. Trump is a Democrat, been a Democrat. He peeped a weakness in the political game and he sold it. He peeped a weakness. Trump has always supported Jesse Jackson, the Democratic Party, always. But he's seen them making that movement. He said, I can go over here and get some money with these suckers. He's seen Black Wall Street, and then Black Wall Street turned into the other movement. And he said, it was Black Wall Street, and it was the other movement. I forgot the name of the other movement. Then he jumped in there with the MAGA and pimped them. Make America great again. Pimped the hell out of them. And so you had Black Wall Street, then you had the other movement. It'll come to me in a minute. They had a movement. And he seen that movement and he went and jumped over there. But he didn't like the movement, so he changed the name. He changed the name of the original movement that whites had. He changed the name. Slick. It's like, look over there, look at the Hispanics, look at the immigrants, look at the blacks. Don't look at me, look at the immigrants, look at the blacks. Take all your shit. I'm going to chase these immigrants out of here, but the whole time you going to lose your farm. Shit was slick as hell. Show ICE grabbing them, but the whole time they left on their own. Make you think he put them in detention centers. No, most of them self-deported, which means your farm is closed. Why would I chase the farm workers at harvest time? That's how I peep game. Cause bro, you chasing the farm workers out in July, August, and September, knowing they gotta harvest all this stuff for Thanksgiving. I peeped it right then. I said, "Oh, this ain't." Yeah, Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street, and then the Tea Party. Yes, it was Occupy Wall Street, the Tea Party. He turned the Tea Party into MAGA. Yes, yes. He took the Tea Party and pimped them, made a MAGA. Tell me I'm not lying. Why, if I got white farmers, got all this food ready to harvest, why would I chase away their workers for the holiday season when they can make the most money? This is when they were supposed to make the most money. They didn't make nothing. So the economy finna crash January, February, all them losses. You don't think we gonna feel all them losses? Them farmers was crying. They didn't send no news out there. Them farmers was crying. They tomatoes was in the field rotting. They strawberries was in the field rotting. And they didn't give them no news press. You know how much food rotted this fall? Do you know how much food rotted? You, man, listen. Rotted. I just watched the white dude. He was mad this morning. He was mad. I just watched the video of him. Say he finna lose his farm. They all losing their farms. Yep, I just watched it. It was sad. I felt bad for him. I ain't gonna lie. He just out there growing food and shit, trying to make a dollar. He can't make nothing. The government then cheated him out of everything. Not only did the government cheat them with the food, the government let the people that make the tractors and stuff rob them. The people that make all them tractors and farm equipment is robbing them blind. Man, you would not believe the kind of financing they got to do to get them tractors and that big industrial farm equipment. They can't afford to pay for it. They're losing everything they got with John Deere is one of the main ones. CNH Industrial too. But John Deere is here robbing them, doing them super dirty. Man, John Deere is robbing the American farmer. Heavy. When you get out here, go watch videos on it. You'll see. Robbing them. You know how much they charging them for that farm equipment? This is the same thing they did in slavery. Boom, they get the cotton gin. They get a rich one the cotton gin. The poor one don't got it. So the rich one with the cotton gin can make more, can pay their bills. The poor one can't. They come take your farm. They took all them farms in the South and gave it to the industrial farmers. By the time you get to the 70s, you drive down to Alabama, Mississippi, you just see corn. You get to the spot, you see corn as far as you can see. Who is that own all that corn? And that's in the 70s. So imagine now. I ain't been down there. I can only imagine if you drive down south now, you just gonna see industrial farming. You ain't gonna see no small farms. I bet you ain't hardly no small farms in Mississippi, Alabama, or Georgia. I bet you ain't no farms like it was in the 60s and 50s. I bet you they all just acres and acres industrial farming. And the average farmer can't maintain industrial farming. So now John Deere and them investors buy it. I guarantee you, if you look at some of these industrial farmers, I guarantee you that John Deere got money in it. Guaranteed. Because they make the tractors. So if they got the farm, they winning. They don't got to buy it. They ain't got to buy the farm equipment. They make it. Why wouldn't they invest in it? So they'll get a front name to invest in it, but they all in it. You look at all the companies behind it, I guarantee you John Deere got farms that people lost buying their damn equipment. I guarantee you. But they might got it under a company name that ain't John Deere, so it won't be so obvious. But you can't tell me that they ain't making no money off them farms. Why wouldn't they? They can get the food more cheaper because they make the farm equipment. You go down there and they, when I used to go to visit my grandfather in Alabama, like you be on his farm, I'd be on his farm, and then the farm next to him, you see a plane flying, spraying the crops. My granddaddy ain't got no plane to spray his crops. That show you the one that had the plane spraying the crops got getting more money than my granddaddy. They eventually took my granddaddy's farm. You understand what I'm saying? So when you go down there, first we used to go, it'd be those little bitty sprinklers doing this. Man, after about 5 or 6 years, it's these big ass sprinklers that, you know what I'm saying? That show you that the industrial people is taking over. Which farmer can afford those big old sprinklers that roll? They got wheels on them. Who can afford the new equipment? And that farmer with the new equipment, then the farmer with the old equipment go out of business. Then he take that. Then he take that farm next to him. He take that. Take everybody's stuff. And then the corporate people own all of this. Now, once the corporate people own all of it, right? There ain't no competition with the food. So now guess what? They can charge you whatever the hell they want to charge you because they the only ones got the food. When they got competition, the competition could sell it cheaper, so they got to bring their prices down. But when you got a monopoly, now they can rob you because you either gonna buy it from them or you ain't gonna eat. That's why when you go to Whole Foods, that's why you go to grocery store, that food's so high. Because it ain't no competition. It's a monopoly. And now that Trump done ramped all the workers out and all these people lose their farms, man, listen, by 2027, watch food prices. Watch. They're going to, the corporate America going to buy all them farms. And you say, well, Pharaoh, who going to take care of it? They got the money to bring in, the machines going to do it. They don't need the Mexicans no more in Venezuela. They got machines to pick the food, water the food, put the pesticides, but you got to have the big money to have that equipment. You understand? Think, why would they run the farmers out? Who gonna do it? Because the rich finna buy the farms and they gonna bring in machinery. They're going to bring in the machinery. The poor guy can't afford it. The new people coming in, they don't need no Mexicans. They don't need no Mexicans. This how they gonna do their food. They're gonna run the guy out that need the Mexicans, and the big people gonna take it over. And this is what's gonna pick the food, grow the food, water the food, put the pesticides on the food. But only the big corporations gonna be able to afford this. Tell me I'm lying. What they made this equipment for, to sit there? No, they made this equipment to take over. Okay? They didn't just make this equipment to sit there. They made this equipment to get rid of the Mexicans and get rid of the migrant farm workers. You know it. What they made the equipment for? Just to let it sit there? You think it's a coincidence they made all this robotic farm equipment and chased out all the farm workers? I mean, just, duh. They make all this farm equipment. Then they say, okay, is it all ready? Yeah, the farm equipment ready. Okay, is y'all ready to buy these farms? Yeah. Okay, ICE, come get them out of here. Call ICE, get you out of here, lose your farms. They come in, buy your farms, roll in the new tomato picker. Yeah, they roll in the robotic tomato picker, the robotic thing that fly and put the pesticides on. You could buy one. Bye. Your services is no longer needed. Get your ass out of here. The poor farmers needed the Hispanics. The rich industrial farming don't need them. So that means all of the farmers that had their migrant workers are about to lose their farms to the big industrial companies. They intentionally sabotage their crops. Tell me I'm lying. Listen, If you was a farmer and you had illegal migrants, you was an American farmer, and you had illegal migrants, and I wanted to get them out the country, would I chase them out in September, October, November, harvest time? Or if I had love for you, will I wait? Because the gangster right would have did what? Wait, let them pick the food first and then chase them out. Then we got enough time for you to find somebody else to pick it. Who would chase them out when it's time to pick it? Y'all telling me they didn't know they was chasing them people out with food still on the vines? They knew that. That ain't no damn coincidence that they chased them people out. If they had any concern for the farmers, they would be chasing them out now that everything is picked. No, everything didn't rot it. So now the farmers, they ain't gonna make no money. And they right there ready. Oh, we sorry to hear about what happened. You lost your farm. Okay, they're gonna step in, buy it from the bank. Bank coming in. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You defaulted. You defaulted. The farmers ain't gonna be able to pay nothing. They had you thinking the enemy was the migrants. The enemy was the white American farmer. It was never the migrant. Hey, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Think about it. They shouldn't have did them like that though. You know what I'm saying? See? Agreed. What farmers are experiencing is due to sabotage. Prior to mass deportation, the vice president is on record for having invested in a lot of farmland. Yes, J.D. Vance. And what he does, he makes the investment, and Trump will be a silent partner. J.D. Vance got in there, boom, and got a new company that takes land. Yeah, he got a company to take their land. It was a setup and made us think it was against the migrants. It was slick. I ain't gonna lie. They super slick. And had us thinking they're gonna lock up the migrants and got alligator Alcatraz and all that. And they let them people go home. They ain't locked them people up. Go look it up. How many of them self-deported? They let them go home. But they tell you, we're going to lock them up and all that to distract you. They ain't lock up shit. They just scared of them. ICE is here. ICE is here. Everybody, of course, everybody going to run if you tell them ICE is coming. They had ICE ride around to scare them. Run them home, make them run home on their own. It was slick. Think about how they did ICE. They brought ICE in a way to run everybody away before ICE even can grab them. If you look, they show a couple people ICE grabbing, but they just did that to make the rest of them run. They have not shown you ICE arresting no thousands of people because they didn't. They just arrested enough people to make the rest of them run home. And the ones they grab, they're going to release them back down. They're going to let them go. They ain't going to pay to house them in no doggone jail. They start saying, we'll put you in a jail in Africa, a foreign country. They was lying. $3,000 to self-deport so they could take that land. So they could take that land. Farmers is going to be messed up, lost all them crops. Some farmers got mad and just destroyed their crops. buried them and stuff, grapefruits and oranges, dug holes and just put the stuff in it because they seen they was finna lose money. I watched that farmer this morning, that white farmer, man. That shit broke my heart, man. I felt bad for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't got nothing to do with slavery. He just was born. You know what I'm saying? So some white person today, they wasn't there in slavery. They ain't got nothing to do. We just want our reparations, but we ain't blaming you. You wasn't even there. So here this man worked all his time to get his farm and stuff. Now he finna lose his farm. And a lot of them, if you go look at them, you can see they just working hard. Like dude was old too. Dude looked like he was almost in his late 50s and his 60s. You know what I'm saying? So this man, 60 years old, still barely making ends meet and finna lose his shit. And y'all ever seen a hardworking man? So you can see this dude work hard, right? He just out there on that farm trying to make some ends meet, trying to make $1. It was sad, man. I ain't gonna lie to see that man out there like that. And he said a lot of his friends already lost theirs, and he finna lose his. Man, that shit was. I said, damn, they did dude dirty. You know what I'm saying? They did dude dirty. While they got the rest of the world thinking this some racial stuff, this a white dude. They did him dirty as hell, man. That old race baiting stuff is fake. They did the race stuff so it wouldn't be obvious they robbing anybody. They don't give a damn about race. They just rob it. If you're gonna rob people and most of the country is white, guess who you're gonna rob? It's deep. They can't even rob us because we don't got nothing, comparatively speaking. We only 50 million. How they gonna rob us? If they gotta rob out of the 235 million whites. If they gonna make people pay school loans, guess who it's gonna be? It's gonna be whites. Who got the most people on school loans? Think about it. If it's only 50 million black Americans and there's 235 million whites, which one got the most young people that got school loans debt? Whites. And they finna take all that money and have some fake black racism stuff out there so you can't see they taking all these white Americans' money. Man, when white America wake up and find out they ran that racial okey doke, they're gonna be pissed. They basically use the fake racism to rob America. They use fake racism to rob everybody. I swear to God. I knew it was something to it because I'm like, Trump ain't no racist. What is he doing? He just pretended. Trump ain't never been no racist. His daddy was a racist. Trump didn't like the way his daddy functioned. Trump was a jet setter and a weirdo. Everybody know that. He went and studied that racism stuff so he could fool whites. He fooled them. Yeah, he tried to warn them. Man, all I could tell y'all is, man, get you some extra beans and rice and stuff like that and be ready. And before I go, all y'all out in California, you know, get your survival stuff, get your candles, get your lanterns, get your solar lights and stuff, get you some and get ready to bunker down. This, here come the rain, and they say the rain is coming into the areas had the fire. They're expecting crazy mudslides. It's going to be pretty bad in California. You know what I'm saying? So all my people in Cali, like, get ready. Here it comes. You know what I'm saying? And y'all stay positive, but definitely get your survival stuff ready. Because, Mother Nature finna be acting a fool. You know what I mean? And all that stuff with Nicki and Minaj, that's just distractions. That ain't real. That's distractions. Straight up victory.